have 3 losses by now.
I don't know about that.
They are not that good.
Put Florida State in there, I would say yes to that, what you just said.
On return by Caleb Downs. And he finds a seam. He makes the punter look silly. Caleb Downs, show him what you got. Touchdown, Bama.
I'm going to drive now for UTEP. And they will keep it on the ground. Awatt just gets pile-driven by Stutzman.
They really haven't even tried from the shotgun.
That throw's intercepted. Pierce down the sideline. Touchdown.
Claiborne, the sophomore, has 1 score so far this season. Rivers will buy a little bit of time. Falling down, lost the football. Play is still live. And recovered by the Monarchs. Lamarian James will take it the other way for the ODU touchdown.
Welcome back to Devy IDP. I'm your host, Hollywood Button, and my co
The champ is here! 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 The champ is here!
You're on mute, Hollywood.
Yeah, muted. So I said our champ Justice is here once again.
I know, man. So close to winning both sides of the league for the second time. So close. So close. Just couldn't. I ended up losing by like less than a point.
Yeah, that's hard to.
A point and a half. A point and a half in the NFL side.
You was very close playing both sides.
I was undefeated on the NFL side and lost in the championship game. That was kind of brutal. I had the chance to win the college side and the NFL side in 3 leagues. And I was in the championship of NFL in all 3, and I only won 2, losing our league by, like I said, a point and a half. So, yeah, it was the pretty special year for me in C2C. It's hard to win both sides in 1 league, much less 3 leagues. I'd only ever done it once, so it was pretty cool to do it twice this year, almost 3.
Yeah, that's pretty cool achievement to be able to try to do that. Just to be able to do that is pretty neat. But yeah, this makes what, the 3rd time you've won?
3rd time I've won the college side. Yeah, yep. I think I've won 3. Sal has won 1, and Dwight won 1. And I played Sal in the championship again, the college side. So it's 2 years in a row. It's been me and Sal in the championship game.
Yep. Speaking of champions, the Indiana Hoosiers are the national champions. I didn't quite see that coming, although they've had a good team for the past 2 years. I didn't see that coming, though.
No, not before the year started, for sure. I mean, I watched the first game. They played Old Dominion. Old Dominion was leading after the first quarter. I think Old Dominion is also the only team to recover a fumble against them all year. First play from scrimmage for Indiana, Old Dominion had the ball, first play of the year, and Colton Joseph ran for a 73-yard touchdown. So that highlight's been talked about a lot, given their run to the national championship. But I don't know. When you got to the playoffs, like, it was pretty clear they were the best team, in my opinion. They were just the most complete team, the best team. You saw them doing the championship game. You saw them, you saw Fernando Mendoza make that 4th and 5 touchdown run. You saw him block a punt for a touchdown at special teams, and then they ended the game with an interception. So, like, those guys, man, they deserved it. They were clearly the best team in college football this year.
Yeah. So I think the early odds for next year's already out, and Indiana is the favorite to win again next year. Of course, Hoover from TCU to replace Mendoza. So, do you think they can?
I think so. I mean, they brought the only question I have, and I asked someone else, and they said they don't lose a lot, is offensive line, right? Like, they brought in an impressive haul in the transfer portal for next year. I just don't know. I'm assuming they must not lose a whole lot on the offensive line, because I don't know that they brought in a ton of. I mean, they brought some in, of course. I expect they lose 1 or 2, but I was under the impression maybe they were going to lose their entire offensive line, but maybe that's not true.
Yeah, I haven't looked at who all they're losing. Like I said, they're bringing Hoover through the portal to replace Mendoza next year. So, looks like they got their quarterback in place, and that's a big piece.
Yeah, they got Nick Marsh.
How are you liking these playoffs? Do you
I enjoy
15 teams, or do you think they should stay at 12?
I think kind of stay where you are. I enjoyed the playoffs. I mean, yeah, we had some really good games. I enjoyed that there's 2 G5 teams in there. People like to crap on the G5, but man, like, JMU played Oregon way better than Alabama did.
Yeah, and I think you got to keep the G5 in there, right? I've heard that the SEC wants to go to 16, but the Big 10 wants to go to 20 or whatever it is, and I think that's just way too many.
Yeah, that's too many. I mean, all you're going to do is get more crappy SEC teams in there, and we saw how well the SEC did. I think the SEC only won 1 bowl game when they weren't playing another SEC team all year. That's not good. That is not good. So it'll be interesting to see how the talking heads, what they prop up at the SEC again next year after a pretty crappy performance this year. Although I was rooting for Ole Miss, man. I wanted to see them in the national championship game against Indiana to stick it to Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, I would be okay with 16, but I think they got to leave the G5 in there somehow. They got to at least leave the 2 in there. I think if you move to 16, that's 2 more SEC schools, more Big 10. They do 16 at the other level. 16, I'm like you. I think if you go any more than 16, you're going to get some bad blowouts. That so. I just think it's too many.
Yeah, I agree. And they have to let the G5 in. If you don't let the G5 in, I think they'd get sued. I don't think they can legally exclude the G5 purposefully. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I thought JMU played well. Tulane, not so much. I think JMU had a tougher opponent in Oregon, right? First game. I think there were some Power 4 teams that JMU might have beaten the playoffs. Not Oregon, of course, probably not Indiana or Miami. But I think they would have played some other teams really tough and may have won the game.
They played a lot better in the second half versus Oregon. But yeah, I agree. There's some teams that had they got the matchup with, I think they could have hung in there, if not beat them straight out. So yeah, I agree with that.
They, I mean, even the first half, they were moving the ball. They just weren't scoring points, but they were moving the ball on that defense. They couldn't stop the Oregon offense, but they were moving the ball on that defense at least.
Right. Yeah. It's pretty fun playoffs. I enjoyed it. I really see Miami again and being the team to beat, but they kind of took that Ohio State role, right?
Yeah.
They kind of caught it at the right time and just rode it all the way through almost.
Yeah, they did. They did. They got really hot and they were playing really well throughout the year.
Our portal is closed, right?
The portal's closed, yeah. Although I guess today's Wednesday, so I mean, you might hear some guys today just because teams have 48 hours, and so they could enter on Friday. Most schools were closed Monday because of holiday, so the 48-hour period would end today. So, like, you might hear a few more guys today that entered the portal. But yeah, it's closed for guys entering, but obviously people can leave the portal whenever. Tennessee got some ballers on defense in the portal, man.
I saw something. I'm trying to find it here, but I think I saw something the other day that they were like 10,000.
Yeah.
No, win 10,000. I forget the number, but it was
10,000, like 10,000 guys in the
players in the portal dropped down to the FSC or less because they can't go back to where they were at. It's already been filled.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. That happens. Unfortunately, when as a player, when you enter the portal, you got to understand like the team has to make ulterior plans, right? And so, like,
yes,
your spot might be gone by the time you say, "Oh, I screwed up. I want to come back." Tennessee did really well in the portal, getting Amari Campbell, and then that edge rusher from Penn State, and then they got Ryan Carter back. So they did. I thought Tennessee, at least on defense, I don't know who's going to play quarterback for you, but they did really well on defense anyway. Well, it looks like Hollywood's having some technical difficulties. Yeah, the portal's been really hot and heavy. Like I said, Tennessee got a Ryan Carter, Amari Campbell, and Chaz Chambliss. And Old Dominion did well in the portal. A lot of JUCO guys. They lost a lot on offense, not as much on the defensive end. Damon Wilson's still out there in the portal. I think Miami's the favorite for Damon Wilson, the edge rusher from most recently Missouri. I haven't seen him commit anywhere yet, but everything I've seen points to Miami getting Wilson. So yeah, a lot of they're going to need somebody to replace Reuben Bain. So I have no doubt Miami's got the money to go after Damon Wilson. We saw Prince Will Umanamilian go from Ole Miss to LSU today. So the dominoes should start falling because I think most colleges started yesterday, so players don't have a lot of time to get enrolled.
Right, and we saw something interesting with Arian Carter, which I don't remember hearing it, but he pulled out of the draft and come back to Tennessee. So, that kind of tells me he didn't get the draft grade that he thought he would, and B, Tennessee probably paid him enough to make it worth his while to come back, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll see more of that? Because I always thought that was always something that if I was any kind of player that had an option at the NFL and I was not out of eligibility, if I had more time to come back and play college, I always felt like if I didn't get the grade that I thought I could get, I'd come back for another year, especially now that you're going to get paid in college, right?
Yeah, I'm surprised more guys don't do it, honestly. I mean, I think you're going to see that trend happen where guys are going to stay. We saw it last year with Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins, right, coming back to play for Ohio State versus go to the NFL. So I think you're going to start seeing that, especially with certain positions, right? Obviously, like I think your quarterbacks, your receivers, your edge rushers, those guys are leaving, right? But your running backs, your linebackers, guys that the position is really kind of devalued in the NFL. And so those guys would make sense to go back and play in college.
Yeah, and there's going to be, I know people ask me, like Sal's always ask, which teams should we look at, for certain positions. I think there's just so much turnover right now. It's hard to pinpoint.
Well, right. Clemson, I think in today's age of the portal, you really can't I don't know. I mean, you can look at teams you want, like maybe that are going to produce NFL guys, right? But if you're looking for college production, that's a year-to-year thing, I think, nowadays.
Yeah. The NIL on the portal has changed everything, and it's not going to go back.
No.
At some point, I think they're going to wind up with a CBA of some type or something like that.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they're going to have to, right? I mean,
yeah.
There's got to be some kind of guidelines more than what we have today put in place. You talk about guys going to the NFL, and I was talking with Brock earlier today, and we were talking about if you look at college basketball, where guys are getting drafted by the guys that have been drafted by the NBA, never played in the NBA, only played in the G League, are now playing college basketball. Like you just had one today with Alabama guy, right? Baylor signed a guy back in December. I mean, I think Arizona signed a guy. I mean, it's all over the place. Like, and the NCAA has basically been saying, well, they didn't play in the NBA, so it's okay. So to me, that should open the door for a guy like, let's say, Ryan Carter did stayed in the draft, and then he doesn't get drafted. Then, in my opinion, he should be able to come back and play college football because they're letting basketball players do it.
Right. Yeah, that's the whole thing's a mess. There's just no rhyme or reason to it, and I don't know exactly what the answer is, but I can tell you what's going on right now is not it at all. Something else I've kind of noticed, and I've seen it with Tennessee in this portal, this year's portal, and I've seen it with other teams, but you're seeing a lot more of these FCS lower division players get opportunities up in the Division I now. And I wonder if part of that is because they're coming at a cheaper cost because they're coming from a lower level.
Yeah, that's probably. I mean, I think that's part of it. I think also like your Power 4 schools, what they're doing is they're building depth that way, right? They're getting instead of when we saw with Indiana, right? Like all these 5-year and 6-year seniors. That's how they're doing it, right? They're getting these guys from other schools versus recruiting a freshman that's not going to be ready to play. they're getting a guy that's 23, 24 years old. And so you're getting a guy that has production and is mature. And so I think you're going to see a lot more schools follow the Indiana model.
Yeah, I know Tennessee has went that route this year. They've picked up a few players through the portal from the lower ranks, and I've just been kind of watching, and I've noticed more of that. And I was like, they, like you said, they are filling their depth, but I think Kiffin finding Chambliss from a lower division and bringing it up, and him having such a good year, I think you're going to see a lot more teams try to replicate that, whether they can or not.
Absolutely. Not to change the subject, but who's going to play quarterback for your Volunteers, man? They got a nasty defense, but I don't know who's going to play quarterback.
Right now, it's going to be George McIntyre.
Yeah, I saw people saying they should kick the tires on Parker Navarro from Ohio, but he's not. He's got to get a waiver approved, and
yeah, that'd be like waiting on Joey Aguilar. So,
well, right, he's got that lawsuit. He's got the lawsuit. That's the hearing's not like February 7th or something.
Something like that, 7th, 10th or something, and that's too far away. You just can't wait. You can't wait on the NCAA to do the right thing or whatever they're going to do. So they brought in the Staub kid from Colorado. I think he's going to wind up being, I don't know if that's somebody Heupel can work his magic with or not, but McIntyre looks to be the front runner as the starter. And then I think the plan is to have Faison ready for 27. He's going to have all the weapons.
Yeah. If that JUCO ruling gets changed, where Joey basically he gets the extra year, that's going to be some crazy times with all these JUCO guys suddenly get an extra year.
Oh gosh, yeah. And I think if that was to happen, I think Tennessee would bring him back. I mean, he didn't play bad last year, especially with the injury that he played through after the season that we found out. So I think they would entertain bringing him back because they're going to have some more weapons with Tristan Keys and those guys in.
I gotta imagine
the defense.
Yeah, the defense is going to be really good. But I gotta imagine some teams are probably holding some roster spots open, waiting to see what's going to happen with that JUCO stuff.
I think so too. I don't think they're holding like a ton because I don't think Tennessee is.
But they're probably holding like one or two or maybe three spots.
Yeah, I think there's a spot. They're playing, like you said, the what if game. If he was to be eligible, of course they'd want to bring him back. So yeah, I think they're holding at least a couple spots.
And like I don't know, like maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it's got a good shot of happening because. I mean, what changed since last year when they ruled that JUCO didn't count, right? Like,
right.
Nothing's changed, so I don't see how the NCAA is going to win. So yeah, I mean, it's got a good shot of winning that again.
I've seen it mentioned a few times, and I kind of wonder with all these players filing lawsuits and suing to try to get extra eligibility. I wonder if we'll just eventually see the NCAA say, okay, everybody's got 5 years instead of 4 now.
Well, that's what they've been trying to push, but they didn't. NCAA doesn't want it. That's what the coaches want. I don't know if you saw that the coaches proposed that the new, right now you can play 4 games and still redshirt. The coaches are now proposing you can play 9 games in redshirt. So
I know that's crazy.
Like, come on, just let them have 5 years and you play 5. See, the problem with JUCO is JUCO is not governed by the NCAA. And so you can't really – that's the argument is you can't count those years because I didn't play for the NCAA. I played for the NJCCA or whatever it's called, something like that.
Right.
And so JUCO, I think where it ends up is JUCO years don't count at all, and players are going to have 5 years to play 5, and then they're going to get rid of all the the medical stuff. And if you get hurt 3 of those 5 years, too bad, so sad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see. And there's so many changes going right now. It's like I said, there's that many players in the portal, and I think it was something like 30%, if I remember correctly, was either going to have to drop a level down in football, or they were not going to be able to play at all if they chose not to, because all the spots are filling up. So I wonder how many of these, I call them kids because I'm old, but I wonder how many of these kids would answer a survey. I heard it on the radio the other day, and they were talking about the Vols, and they're like, these kids that transfer to another place, we offer, I don't know, we offer them $1 million. They're wanting $2 million. They transfer because they don't get it, and then they settle up for, $500,000. Those are the stories that they need to tell to get out there for everybody to realize, to help your fellow player, right? Because I have to.
Yeah, but see, I think the players don't want to. They don't want to talk about that because they probably feel embarrassed, right? Because at the end of the day, they messed up,
right?
And so they don't. Here's the thing: we'll start hearing about those stories, but we won't hear those stories until they're out and done with college, right? Because they ain't gonna talk about it today because they're embarrassed by it, probably,
Right. Which, I don't know. I think that's why you this day and age with this wild west of college football, I think you really, really got to have the right people around you to listen to.
Yep.
I don't think you can be a Boo Carter and be listening to your mama and whoever. And I don't know what Colorado paid him, but
that was kind of a fitting destination for him, in my opinion. Like I don't know. Like when I saw that, I'm like, yeah, of course he's going to Colorado.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it works out, and I hope it does for him because he's super talented, right? I mean, there's no question the kid is talented, but he's going to have to get his shit together if he's going to play. Because I can't imagine Deion's going to put up with a whole ton of that. Just not doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of what upset a lot of his teammates here at Tennessee. Is, from my understanding, it wasn't all in on him coming back the first time. A lot of them had their doubts, and it kind of seems like it come to fruition. But what about your Monarchs? It seems like every other day there for a few minutes, somebody was hitting the transfer portal. I was like, damn, you even going to have a team left?
They lost a lot on offense.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, we only returned one starter on offense.
Wow.
But for the most part, that was expected. Like, we knew we were losing the offensive line. They were all seniors. The quarterback, you knew Colton Joseph was leaving. Like, that wasn't a shocker. The 3 receivers that left, that wasn't a shocker. Really, some of the shockers came on defense, I would say. Offense, there really weren't. I mean, not to say that there weren't people that you maybe mildly surprised, but for the most part, like the superstars, you knew they were gone. There were a couple on defense that were surprising. Maybe not too much, but I mean, we do return a lot. But I mean, like, I don't know, like, most people wouldn't agree with this, but I think on a player talent basis, on an individual player and the talent of those players, Old Dominion was arguably the most talented team in the Sun Belt. They didn't play together as good as JMU did, but I think on a pure talent basis, they were more talented. I mean, we talk about the offensive guys. You see Colton Joseph go to Wisconsin, Trey Brown to LSU, Ja'Cory Thomas to Vanderbilt, Naeem Gladding to Maryland. And then, defense, we saw Jerome Carter go to Clemson, right? And so, those are all pretty elite spots. for a college football player. So there was a lot of talent on that team. I think this year's team has just as much potential as last year's team. I think last year I was saying I picked Old Dominion to win the Sun Belt.
That's awesome. Yeah. I know there for a while.
Think
It
they
seemed
can
like
do
y'all was
it
looking
again.
at somebody every other day. It seemed like.
Yeah, they did. They did. Like there was a couple surprises on defense, but for the most part, the offense stuff was expected. But they've done a good job of filling the vacancies. They recruited JUCO really hard this last time. Both offensive line, wide receivers. They signed a running back and a linebacker just this week from Mississippi State. They brought in another quarterback from Washington State to compete with the quarterbacks they have. This team should be pretty talented and be ready to compete for a Sun Belt title. And I'm excited to see how things pan out in the spring because I think they have the talent to be really good again.
That's awesome. Yeah, I watched a few games of y'all's last year, and I was really impressed with. You just said his name, the quarterback, Colton Dow.
Colton Joseph.
He played good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is losing our best safety is not something new, right? They lose. So this year they lost Jerome Carter to Clemson. Last year they lost Jerron Manning to Mississippi State. The year before that we lost Terry Jones Jr. And then there's another safety that started for Indiana, on their playoff team. So like, it's no shocker that we find really good safety talent and they go somewhere else. So I have no doubt that the staff, has done the same thing and they'll be bringing some more talented guys in that defensive backfield. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's recruiting wise, it's going to be hard to keep these classes now with the transfer portal and this NIL stuff. I kind of feel like these kids are going to come in, and if they don't see the action right away, they're going to bolt if somebody will pay them some money.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think
that it's going to be hard to keep these recruiting classes.
I think the one spot where you kind of have to recruit and develop are both the lines, offensive line, defensive line. I think you really got to recruit and try and develop those. But yeah, I think your other positions, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, because there was a lot of question. You bring these kids in and they're not starting to play, and somebody else needs back, or needs them at a position. They could say, "Hey, if you'll transfer, you right away because we need them. We'll give you this, that." So I just think a lot of these recruiting classes, while it's interesting and been a big part of teams, I just think it's going to be hard for teams like Clemson. We're not going to use the portal. Well, how'd that work out for you, right?
Well, we know he's using this year because he got an Old Dominion guy.
So I just think going forward with all this, it's going to be hard to keep some of these recruiting classes.
Yeah. Yep. And I think the weird thing this portal is the premium on quarterbacks, man. Like there are quarterbacks that aren't very good getting $1 million, and they're not very good quarterbacks. Quarterback seems to be a super premium position, at least this year.
Yeah, I mean, you had like Sam Leavitt, Tennessee. Reportedly, from what I've heard, they kept upping their offer, and they just got to a point to where they said the money's kind of not worth it. We can take half of that and go get other players to help our team and still find a quarterback. So I think they were outbid. They just, I know they looked at Prabula from Missouri and they weren't too impressed with him, so they let him go to I think it was West Virginia he went to.
He went to Virginia, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. For some reason, I thought he went to Virginia, but I don't know.
One of them I know, so I can't remember which one. It may have been. I was thinking West Virginia, but it may have been Virginia.
Yeah, Michael Hawkins from Oklahoma went to West Virginia. So I think Perbula went to Virginia.
Yeah. That might be what I'm thinking of, yeah. But, yeah, they kicked tires on a couple of quarterbacks and just didn't work out. So, if they get lucky and Aguilar gets another year, I'd have to again, I imagine they'll bring him back because he's familiar with the system. They know what they're getting in him. So,
yep.
Yeah, things are definitely going to change. I knew when all the conference realignment and stuff started, it was going to be the end of college football, as we kind of knew it. And that's, do you think they're going to get rid of bowl games? Because I think it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, I understand what they're saying, but like Indiana this year, they won 3 bowl games. And in their previous history, they had only won 3 bowl games, period. So technically this year they won as many bowl games as they won in their whole history. So I don't know. I think bowl games are going to go away a little bit.
I don't know. I don't think they're going to go away, but I mean, I think they're just too important for the G5, I mean, I think some of the Power 4 schools don't like it, don't want it. They're not in the playoffs, but the G5 is all about it. I mean,
it is good for them, but Notre Dame, I ain't in the playoffs. I'm going to take my ball and go home. I'm not playing in your bowl game.
Well, I think what they should do when teams do that, like what Notre Dame did, and was it Northwestern, or was it Kansas State? Kansas State, where they were both. So, in my opinion, Notre Dame and Kansas State, they should have been told, well, you don't want to play in the bowl game, then guess what? You're banned from postseason play for a year. So that means next year you can't play in the playoffs. And I guarantee you, them jokers would find a way to play in that bowl game.
Oh, yeah. They'll be there with bells on.
Yeah.
It was just Notre Dame pitching a fit because they didn't get in. And that was their little temper tantrum. Which kind of sucks because if I was on Notre Dame and I was a senior,
I'd be pissed.
You're telling me I can't go play in a bowl game? I'd be kind of pissed about that.
Yeah, especially if you're a guy that's not going to the NFL, right? They just took your last game away from you.
One more time to play with my, whatever. Right. Yeah. I'd have been pissed about that, but it's kind of weird. It's all definitely changing. And I think I saw the 2027 national championship is going to be in Vegas now.
Oh, really? Wow. That'll be fun time.
I saw that the other day. Yeah. Can you imagine having a national championship down there? That place will be insane.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You'll never see so many drunks and gamblers in your life than that. Oh, yep. Yeah. So yeah, Justice, I will get your address for sure because I've lost it, I think. But to all of our league winners, Trophy Smack has once again partnered with us, and they've sent us some nice rings. So be sure to go check those out. It's the same black and gold ones that we had last year. Those things are pretty awesome. I think it's better than their silver rings by far. So
sweet. The other ones I have are all silver, so I'm looking forward to getting a black and one.
Yeah, they're all black and gold. Actually, let's see if I have one right here. Open. Actually, I do. So they will.
Oh, nice. Yeah. The other two I have are both silver.
Look like that.
Nice.
Yeah. Same great quality. They look awesome. They really do. The ones I gave away last year, everybody was raving them. They're like, those are badass. And I agree. I was like, man, if I went to those. So yeah, thanks to Trophy Smack for that. I'll be getting in touch with our league winners and getting addresses and getting those out. Thank you to Action 24/7. They sent us some stuff, some swag. So I'll be putting those in a package for you as well and getting all that stuff together. So, but yeah, if you're looking for something for your league champions and you ain't got it yet, go over to Trophy Smack. Be sure to check them out. They got all kinds of stuff. I seen today that they've made a 2-pound belt or something like that for youth kids.
Wow.
So it's not the big heavy belts. So they're doing stuff for everybody right now.
Yeah, their belts are pretty cool.
Yeah, so
also, if you're looking for a league, we have an opening in our listener league, our Campus to Canton listener league. We have, I believe, only one opening that I know of, and it's a decent team. I think they were in the semifinals of the NFL side. So, yeah, if you're interested in joining, get up with me or Hollywood.
Yeah, just hit us up and be sure to check that out. How's your website going for the G5?
It's going well, man. This coming Monday, we're gonna do a preview show of just the website. So tune in. People can ask questions. We're gonna show off the website. I would say it's probably 80% done today. We got tools, offensive tools, defensive tools. Yeah, it's got some really cool stuff. We got 3 more tools still in the works. So hopefully we will have those ready to go before the start of the 26th season. But yeah, we got, I don't know, now we probably got like 5, 6, 7 tools, 2 defensive tools. The rest are offense, and then we got massive amounts of data. I mean, preview for next week's show when we talk about our all conference teams, but I'll just show the screen that shows some of the data tools that we have. That's just showing the defensive ends. You can see the sacks, the havoc rate, the stops, pressures, all that kind of stuff. We have this kind of stuff for all the positions, even offensive line. So that's kind of a sneak peek of our show next week. I was going to bring this up when we talk about our different defensive all American defensive team next week. But there's a sneak peek there of the top edges in college football this past season.
That's awesome, man. I love it. Y'all did a great job with that.
Yeah, and it's still right now. It's still you can get a subscription for $49.99 right now. Believe we're going to let that go to the end of February, but then starting March 1st, it'll be full price. So we're going to kind of, like I said, kick things off on this coming Monday with a rundown of the website, answer people's questions, whatever. Try to promote it one last time before the price increases.
Yeah, if you've not checked it out, be sure to get over there and give it a look. Sign up for it. All kinds of good information, excellent tools they got going on there. They did a great job. So be sure to check them out at the G5 Hive. It's a draft season officially, and I love this part of the season. I think this is one of the best parts of the year. So I got some draft dreamer stuff already started.
To the combine.
Yeah, that's just around. Well, the Senior Bowl's first. It's not too far away. I think it's end of the month or something.
Yeah.
So that'll be up, and then some of these all-star games, and then the combine. So yeah, football just ended, but it'll be starting back up real quick. So be sure to check them out at the G5 Hive. They've got all kinds of good stuff. Me and Justice will be back next week. We're going to do our all defensive teams. So be sure you tune in for that. And again, if you need something for your champions or losers, go over to Trophy Smack and check them out. And if you live in the state of Tennessee and want to gamble, check out Action 24/7. they got all kinds of good stuff over there too that you can bet on. So get over there and check out the website though, and sign up for our Patreon. That's where I've got all my articles and stuff. There's free stuff. There's NFL, high school, college. So I'll be doing a lot of that this off season. I've already started some of my Draft Dreamer stuff. So be sure to check all that out. And if you've got any questions, just holler at me or Justice. And, we may start doing some player breakdowns and stuff. But, yeah, go over and check that out. And we will be back next week.
Yep.